All right, welcome to your last lesson of week 2 for Intro to Algebra. Today we're going to be talking about solving equations with negative integers. Here's the homework from 2.4. Make sure you've got your notes packet to the right page and that you have your pencil, maybe an extra pen to help highlight something as we work through the problems. All right, let's get started. So when we include negatives in our solve problems, we want to ask ourselves an important question. So here we have -4 plus x equals -10. A lot of times before this, we've sort of looked at the operation in between the numbers to tell us if we need to add or subtract. What our goal is now is to look at the number we want to cancel out and decide whether that's going to be canceled out by adding or by subtracting. And if you remember, canceling out the number, we want to turn it into a 0 if we're talking about adding and subtracting, because that's our inverse property. So in this case, the number attached to our variable x is -4. -4, in order to make it a 0, we would have to add 4. So -4 plus 4 is 0. And then we still have our plus x. And on the other side, remember, if we add 4 to one side, we need to add 4 to the other. So by side, I mean side of the equal sign. So I saw some of you do this in your homework as drawing a line through the equal sign to show the two sides. If you've been confused about what I've meant by side, this can be a really good tip. So here's one side of the equal sign, here's the other. We're adding 4. So -10 plus 4 is -6. Now, so we have 0 plus x equals -6. As we learned from the first lesson, adding 0 doesn't change the value, so x by itself equals -6. And the variable is by itself, and that's our final answer. Now here, we've got our number 8, and the variable w is what's being subtracted. So if we ask ourselves what's going to cancel out 8, if we added 8, that would become 16. That's not going to cancel out. That's not going to turn into 0. So what we need to do is subtract 8. 8 minus 8, on the other hand, does equal 0. Minus w. We need to subtract 8 on the other side. So -12 minus 8 is -20. The 0 here doesn't make a difference, as we discussed, that's canceled out. And now we have -w on the left-hand side equals -20 on the right-hand side. Now this variable is almost by itself here, but we still need to get rid of the negative. Now how do we get rid of a negative? By turning it into a positive, by putting on another negative here. But if we put on another negative on one side, as always, we have to do the same thing to the other. So now we have positive w on the left-hand side, and the two negatives on the other side also simplify to a positive. We end up with positive w equals +20. Let's look at a question now with division and multiplication. So for number 3, it says n over -3 equals 36 times -4. So one thing that you will see that does occasionally happen is when we have a solve problem, one side of the equation just isn't fully simplified. If you want to, you can do that first. I think that that's always a nice idea. So here we've got a positive times a negative, and so we're going to end up with a negative. 36 times 4, and this is a place where maybe if you're doing your homework, you will leave this space for the number, but you're going to do some scratch work over here. So you can say, all right, 36 times 4, 4 times 6 is 24, 4 carry the 2, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So then we know our answer is -144 on the right-hand side, and we're still left with n divided by -3 on the right. Now remember, getting rid of this denominator is going to mean that we have to multiply both sides by -3. And those cancel out. on the left-hand side. So we're left with n by itself equals negative 144 times negative 3. We now know that this is going to be a positive. Again, if you want to do some scratch work over off to the side here, you can, and we're going to do it in an organized way. We're going to say 144 times 3 so that it's next to the problem. We're not jumping around. 4 times 3 is 12, carry the 1. 12 plus 1, 3, carry the 1. 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4. So our final answer is n equals 432. All right, here's the final lesson for the week. If you have any questions on this or anything before then, please sign up for an appointment slot. Make sure you're nominating the problems in the forms and that you're submitting your presentations by the end of the day on Friday, as well as completing all your check-ins and quizzes for the week. All right, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.